Start over.
Con, y'all live. Y'all good?
So all praises to the Most High, man. We had a little, you know what I'm saying? Satan interrupted the live, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, we back. Again, the title one more time is Why Aren't Black People Helping Mexicans, parentheses, LA riots, right? And again, we expounded on it in the first video briefly. Again, this is a correction video, man, because we know it's an evil eye on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So dealing with Issachar, 10 tribes, Hispanics have an evil eye towards Southern Kingdom and vice versa. However, we do see a vast majority of Hispanics having an evil eye towards Southern Kingdom far more than, you know, I feel like we're more embracing than they have shown themselves to be towards us. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you said you want to show that video one more time, King, or
Yeah, you can show that. Since,
but you would have to show it on your phone now because the brother's on the move. So you got but you're using your phone, right?
No, I can't do that.
Okay, damn. All right, well, let me show a video then real fast. Real quick, because it's not just us. That's what our people have to understand. It's not just us that's coming out here and saying that. Those of us in the truth that acknowledge it and can admit to, you know, the issues that blacks and Hispanics have, specifically in the Los Angeles area. We see it prevalent, very prevalent of, you know, hatred towards one another to the point of, you know, you're killing somebody just because they're black. You know what I'm saying? And you're harming somebody who's black, but has no affiliation to any gang. You know what I'm saying? So that just that screams of hatred. You know what I'm saying? That reeks of hatred. So, but let me get this video real fast, y'all. I'm gonna start with this brother right here. This is a Mexican brother saying something that, you know, needs to be said. Again, uncomfortable conversations need to be had in order for us to move forward. You know what I'm saying? This is why you have a lot of black people right now that are not willing to go out there and protest and be a part of, you know, the issues that Issachar and other 10 tribes are dealing with right now. You know, so I'm gonna play this video real quick. It's off of Instagram. I'm gonna play it on my phone, so bear with us. 1 second. Let me start it all over from the top.
I made that video a couple weeks ago after attending the Kendrick Lamar and SZA concert in Los Angeles, and it quickly gained millions of views. If you go back into that comment section, you will see a lot of Latinos and Hispanics defending their use of the N-word or even just being straight up racist towards black people. Fast forward less than a month later, and Trump and ICE are targeting Latinos and Hispanics in their unlawful ICE raids. This led to a lot of protests around the country, and a lot of black people are deciding to sit this one out. And I cannot be upset with them, because if you go back to the comments in that video, you will see a lot of Latinos and Hispanics defending their use of the N-word and just straight up being racist towards black people. The main reason that I made that video in the first place is that there's a lot of racism within the Latino and Hispanic community against black people. And if you don't believe me, just go watch the video, scroll through a couple of comments, and you will see very quickly what I'm talking about. So now a lot of Latinos and Hispanics are getting upset with black people for not wanting to protest. I say this to my community because maybe you'll hear it better from me, from somebody who looks like you when I say it. If you want black people to join the fight against our oppression, for our struggle, then you need to be there to call out your own community when they're being racist towards black people. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If you want black people to support you, you need to support black people, even if that means calling out your own community and having some uncomfortable conversations with people you're close to. We are so much stronger united. Black people and Hispanics are so much stronger when we come together. But if we want black people to join our fight, then we need to recognize the racism, the colorism, and all other prejudice against black people within our own community. It's not fair to ask them to fight for us when you're not fighting for them. I don't mean just standing up for them during the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean standing up for them in everyday conversations with your relatives, with your friends, with the people around you in your community. If you want black people to respect us, if you want black people to help us, then the least you can do is start by not using the N-word anymore and calling out your friends and family when they use the N-word. Today's song of the day is Arrest the President by Ice Cube.
So, even with that, right? So, mine's went kind of dark on me. There you go. So, we hear Issachar explaining the issues within, you know, the Hispanic culture, especially, like I said, out here in the Los Angeles area. He said that they need to call out the racism within their own community. If you want the support and the help of Black people, this is why Black people are no longer so quick and so gung-ho to just go be a part of anything. Because when, you know, we're in a crazy place in time in which now everybody's starting to wake up and realize certain things. We're starting to realize that a lot of people have an anti-Blackness about themselves. Like we played in the other video, the video of the Mexican brothers talking to this Black woman and her expressing how she once dated a Hispanic and she eventually was rejected by him because of his family, his parents. You know, they didn't want to accept her because she was Black. So, and then that entailed him breaking up with her and moving on from it. And so we see where it's ingratiated in their culture, you know, not to deal with Black people, not to marry Black. You know, this is why they have the term, I know I'm not saying it right, but Meto La Raza. I know La Raza is a part of it. But that means, like we've heard the Mexican brothers say, improve the race or whiten the race. You see what I'm saying? A lot of Hispanics have a crazy, you know, love and desire to be white. Yep. A lot of y'all want to be white. You know what I'm saying? Especially those that we see in the world. You know, and this goes back to a lot of them are identified as white on the census.
Yeah.
You know, quite a few Hispanics fought for the right to be called white. And I'm gonna bring this out, right? And this is from real quick, and I'm gonna read it. It says, when I just looked it up, I said Mexicans fought for the right to be called white. It says, yes, many Mexican Americans in the mid 20th century fought for the right to be classified as white. And this is why Esau's numbers are so damn high in America, because they have Hispanics that are classified as white. They have a lot of immigrants outside of, you know, a lot of people come from Africa or come from throughout Europe and other countries. They put them down as white. You know, that's why Esau's numbers are so high. He's not that much. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, let me finish this right quick. It says Mexican Americans in the mid 20th century fought for the right to be classified as white, particularly in the context of census classifications and legal rights. It says this was driven by a desire to escape discrimination and gain access to the privileges associated with whiteness in the U.S. at the time, right? So, and at the end of the day, you're still being oppressed by him.
Yeah.
It's never going to accept you. You know, I don't understand why, for the life of me, you guys wanted to be classified as white. That's absolute madness. Now, let me get this precept right quick in Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. And it says, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways, right? So the Most High tells us to not be envious of your oppressor. You know, so much so you got Issachar and other tribes. They'll go as far as to do certain hairstyles like Esau, dress like Esau. You know what I'm saying? Want to, you know, present themselves in the same mannerisms as Esau. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we see them with the evil eye towards Judah like Esau has. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, we have to bring this out, man. You know what I'm saying? We get on Southern Kingdom all the time. And a perfect example of that, we go to the, listen, we know a lot. Now, brothers in the comments, we know our brothers in the truth. We got nothing but love for our brothers in this truth, and that's fighting the fight. But we have to call out, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the anti-Blackness that we see from our brothers in the world. And you guys have to call it out as well. You know what I'm saying? So hey, we got to be real. We got to be 100 with it. You have something, King?
Well, no, like I was saying earlier when I went to Revelation 13. Yeah. Revelation 13 is the fall and rise of the Roman Empire, and how the power was given to the dragon. Let me read that real quick. Revelation 13 and 4. It says, and they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? And that's like that. You can't beat him. will enjoy them type of spirit. You know, a lot of our people, they want to associate themselves with the power of whiteness because there is an actual power to being white in a society that they set up to validate those that are white. So it's not just Hispanics, it's everybody. But we have to target. We targeting the elephant in the room, because if we can go to different different tribes, and they still got this. They still affected by that spirit. A white supremacist spirit has been inserted into a lot of brothers and sisters' minds. For instance, you got a lot of Southern Kingdom, and they dye their skin. They dye their skin white. They blonde their hair. We understand that. We talk about that all the time. What we haven't not talked about is Northern Kingdom cultural racism. It's a cultural racism.
Yeah,
that's what we need to pinpoint, man. Why? Because open rebuke is better than concealed love. You know what I'm saying? We love our brothers, so we're gonna mention it. We're gonna mention the fact that over here, specifically in Southern California, there's a specific culture to be culturally racist. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is, but we have, if you're the man of the Lord, you're going to address all things according to how the Lord would say address all things. So this needs to be addressed through the spirit, so our brothers and sisters can be healed with that, or from that wicked mindset. You know what I'm saying? And then we can build. We can't build with this in the middle, man.
yeah, yeah.
And like, for instance, we can use our brothers and sisters that's in the truth. They don't let that get in front of them. We don't let that get in front of us. You know what I'm saying? So I just I'll let you break your little piece down. I just want to show why, well, what created the cultural racism. Because we gotta understand that the Spaniards, and they well in effect right now as we speak. They in the midst of y'all right now as we speak, right? That I ain't talking about the actual people. I'm talking about the spirit of the conquistadors, right? When you look at the caste system and how it was set up, you had Spaniards up on the top as a social hierarchy. You had the indigenous people under them, or the mulattoes under them, the mixture of indigenous and Spaniard. And then you had the indigenous, right? Which is ultimately all of our Northern Kingdom brothers. And then you had the blacks. They was at the bottom of the bottom. So that same pyramid, pyramid situation going on at that time, we see it operating today.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we kind of touching on. So hey, it could be a healing process through the spirit. So
yeah,
you got it.
That's the main goal, because again, as we go more into this topic, it says, why aren't black people helping Mexicans? Black people are reserved right now because when we see we're not wanted and we're being used only for the benefit of someone else and we're not getting nothing out of it, then it becomes, realization of who really messes with us and who doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if you're only using us just for your own benefit, and then when we help you guys out, and then you go right back to the same, mindset that you had before we helped you, which is you just become comfortable in America again. Then, you know what I'm saying? That kind of, we don't want to do that. We don't want you to be comfortable in America. We don't want to be comfortable in America. You know what I'm saying? We want to see this place fall. And if we got our people out there with the mindset of trying to ingratiate themselves in the society and to, be all they can be, like the slogan of America's military, be all you can be. You want to be all you can be in this country. You know what I'm saying? And be everything that the white man wants you to be. Then hey, we kind of wipe our hands with that, man. You know what I'm saying? So again, so we have to highlight these things, right? I'm gonna bring this precept out real quick. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 20 and verse 1. It says, "There is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some man holdeth his tongue, and he is wise." So I'll read verse 2 as well. It says, "It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly, and he that confesseth his fault shall be preserved from hurt." So again, it says there is a reproof, meaning there is a correction, and it's not always going to be comely. Sometimes, I mean, we as in our human nature, we don't want to hear what we've been doing wrong all the time. You know what I'm saying? And again, this conversation is not had enough. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to bring peace and harmony amongst our people. We can't thrive like how we should be thriving if we don't have these conversations and we don't correct each other. You know what I'm saying? You got to go personally and talk to brothers one-on-one, and we know what it says in Matthew 18. You bring 2 or 3 witnesses. After that, you bring it to the whole congregation. So these conversations has to happen. But it says there is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some men hold his tongue and he is wise, right? So again, not all the time is it going to be a beautiful thing to hear something negative, but it's necessary. It might not be what you want to hear, but it's very necessary. So verse 2 again, it says, it is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly, right? Because we can go and keep pushing and striving towards the kingdom and not having these conversations, and no healing is coming.
Yes.
But we feel it necessary to have these conversations. Why? Because it's important, and we want to see our people grow and excel in this truth. And hell, we want the kingdom, man. This is the only way we're going to get the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So let me go back to Leviticus real quick and get that classic precept dealing with the rebuke.
Yeah, I got a quick point as well after you.
I'll read this real fast. It says, Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. Right? So the Bible tells us to not hate thine brother in thine heart. You know what I'm saying? And then that's that next part after that. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor. So this is how you truly show that you love your own brother, is when you rebuke him, when you correct him, when you chastise him to improve. You know what I'm saying? So again, we come in love. We come in a spirit of wanting to see our people get up out of this hellhole. Not be comfortable in America, but you got it, Yashra.
Yeah, Khan, and just a quick point on that. I read a quote one time. John 8 and verse 32 talks about how the truth will set you free. And what a lot of people don't realize is that, and the truth is definitely going to set you free, but it's going to hurt first. You know what I mean? So it's going to cut you first, but it's eventually going to let you free. So, that's what we coming with is the truth, which is not always going to be presented to you in a damn with roses and Con.
Yeah, gone. Aria, you still wanted me to bring out the Babylon and Timbuktu?
Yeah, real quick. But let me bring this out. This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 27. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkles or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. Right? So, hey, man, we the church of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The first church was in the wilderness. The last church are the 7 churches, which are the descendants of the Israelites. All right. And we are the descendants of the 7 churches. So that bloodline from the wilderness to now is always going to be. So with that being Yahushua, who is the governor of the church, he has to, the scripture says when he was dealing with the 7 churches in the book of Revelations, he says, come back to your first love. He says, I will take your candle out if you're lacking, right? This can be a lack, man. This is a blemish. This is a spot upon Israel's, upon the nation and church of Israel. A blemish, a spot. What else? Wrinkles, right? So we using the iron board and the iron of the scriptures to clean, to smooth out some of these wrinkles that's in our nation, man. And that's one of them. One of the wrinkles is the cultural racism towards blacks. Now, let me touch on that, the actual fact that's a social construct in itself, the word black. We don't never associate ourselves with that word black because that's a negative connotation on many levels. In law, it's a negative. In politics, it's a negative. We don't use that. They put that on us, man. We act like we was black when we got on the slave ships. The moment we went on slave ships is the moment we became a black race. So that's stupid even talking about the fact that, oh, you black and I'm brown, or you black and I'm the man. That's all something that Esau has concocted in his laboratories and put in our people's minds. Man, we got to get up off the color, and this is what we're gonna touch on the color line that Esau set up, because there's anthropologists out of Esau's kingdom, scientists out of Esau's kingdom. One of the scientists was what's his name as far as the evolution, the evolution, talking about monkeys.
Let me see. I'm gonna look that up right now.
I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, look him up real quick. I think his name is, what's that devil's name? Well, this is what I'm saying. You got what the brother's about to read. He's one of them. They've been building this foundation of you are based off what your skin color is. Every nation on the planet, because Esau took hold of the planet, every nation is bound by color line. You are, instead of you are who your bloodline is, it's you are based upon your color. That was set up by Esau, man. The Lord don't teach that. We're going to show you through the scriptures, right? What was his name? Darwin?
Charles Darwin, yeah.
Charles Darwin, that devil, right? These men, just like the scriptures, you had the prophets, you had apostles, they all built upon each other. These men have built upon a lie, and they was going to use that to divide and conquer. The way they divide and conquer is through color line, skin line. Okay, we're going to create a race called black, even though these people are Jews. We're going to make a race called brown. What the hell is brown? So when our people we wouldn't be looking like how did our people view each other pre-colonization, pre-Columbus is the most important part. All right. You know, there's different records and articles that show, hey, some of the Canaanites were actually here, the Phoenicians were here, and you see Native Indians fighting the Phoenician brothers or the Africans. Now, in this world, you'll look at that like, oh, look, the brown natives is fighting the black natives, right? But that's not the case. These are two bloodlines that's been going to war with each other, right? Was it the Olmec? I think it's the Olmec statues. These are Phoenicians, man. I don't want to get off topic. I'm just showing how we base everything off skin color. The ones that came over here pre-Columbus, those were Canaanites. Yeah, there was Canaanites in this land as well, but there was also Israelites, and they didn't look alike. So if I see something like that, I read a book and I see a brown race versus a black race fighting each other. I said, oh, see, the brown they came later on in America and want to fight the indigenous of America. Just because it's black don't mean we all the same people is what I'm trying to say, man. You got Africans that's totally different than us. You got Spaniards that totally different than the Hispanics, but they sometimes will have similar features. So this is what we're saying. We don't go by skin color. You got to get out of that. That's a demon. That's a spirit that's hovering over the nation of Israel and over the world, that you are based off what your skin is. That's elementary doctrine. All right. So go ahead and bring that out, King.
This is from the book Babylon to Timbuktu, page 21. It says Johann F. Blumenbach, a German.
Johann F. Blumenbach, and this was a German was an anthropologist. Yeah. Anthropologists are those that study the skulls of men, and they judge based off, where your habitus was, and what type of based off your skull. What was that like the Egyptian? What was that Egyptian anthropologist that you mentioned a lot, where he went to? Well, whatever. Yeah, kind of explain what you was telling me about, or what you kind of bring out most of the time. Just real quick.
Yeah, I think his name was George R. Glidden. He was an anthropologist as well. He So he would just go over the cranial remains of people. And one thing that he pointed out of the Negro skull versus the Egyptian skull, you know, he found a vast difference in how the Negro skull was compared to the Egyptian, which he came to the conclusion that Negroes were not only were Negroes not Egyptian, but Negroes weren't even African. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he
so
came.
that's super.
You got it.
So like, no, you got it.
No, and that's and so I mean that was his conclusion, right? So you know you can't ignore these because Esau's going to put out to the majority of what he wants people to know. You know what I'm saying? So you can't leave out the small fragments of people that say something contrary to what the mass knows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's likely some truth to that, man. This dude wouldn't have said that if it weren't true. This was in the 19th century, by the way, as well. So you got
right. It. So that goes to show that you cannot judge anything about skin color, because if you're studying the skull, there is no skin on there. There's no skin on there. All right. So that's one point of the matter that we got to get off that, because Esau created in this country and abroad a specific image. You're either white, that's the standard. You either white or the standard of negative standard is black. And then between that is brown. Then you got yellow. These are all colors. You got yellow, which is Chinaman. You got brown, which is so-called Hispanic world. You got black. That's the negative. So you want to kind of stay in Esau society, based upon the pyramid scheme that he created, the caste system. You want to stay kind of in the midst of between yellow and if you brown, but you don't want to get to the dark, because to the dark that's fully negative. That's negative, right? You got negative pictures about black people, so on and so forth. And this is why everybody want to escape that color, but we're not a color. We are a bloodline. This is all we're trying to get at. This is how you heal those specific wounds. So go ahead, Ken. You got it.
Con, so I do want to bring out some historical articles that I can remember reading about prior to my moving to LA, and then also when I got here and I seen how it was in San Pedro. You know, specifically,
finish that article too that we was about to read. The Blumenbach.
Oh, the Blumenbach. Yeah. I'll knock that out right quick.
Yeah.
Before I continue though, so this is back in Timbuktu. It says Johann F. Blumenbach, a German, was the first to divide humanity on the basis of skin color.
On the basis of what?
On the basis of skin color.
This is what we need to hearken on. We need to hearken on. These people have created a status in this world for people to look at. So whenever you looking at somebody and you basing it upon skin color, best believe you are using Esau's mind to interpret your understanding of what you're looking at. So your interpretation and perspective is based off the so-called white man. Go ahead.
It says on the basis of skin color, up to this time, no such attempts had been made. His classification set up a color line to the detriment.
Salaki. I like what he said. He says before this, it wasn't even created, right? Read that over, Baba Cashapp.
Yeah. It says his up to this time, no such attempts had been made. His classification set up a color line to the detriment of later generations.
To the detriment of later generations. There's a color line that's been set. This is the beginning of the end when they did this. All right. They had a major agenda to divide the nations and divide the 12 specifically on the basis of skin color. Hey, that'll keep a hostility right in the middle between you and your people. All right, because you got Ethiopians that's darker Ethiopians and then lighter Ethiopians, right? And we can get into other men that have similar ideologies like this man, like Willie Lynch. He's another one, right? Then we got the Spaniard caste system. That's another one. We might touch on a little bit of that, but go ahead and keep reading real quick.
It says, Mr. Blumenbach classified 5 chief races of mankind: the Caucasian, the Mongolian, the Ethiopian, the American Indians, and Malayan. Moreover, he considered the Caucasian to be the original race.
The what?
The original race.
The original race. This is why everybody want to worship the beast.
Right.
Who can make war with him? If you can't join them, beat them. If you can't beat them, join them. This is the same process of you coming into a white society with a white mind. You can't, like, our people, they'll come from different parts of this world, and they know in their minds that they got to assimilate and form into a white perspective. So when they come over here, they got to deny anything. There was an African sister, I'll never forget, it was an African sister, and she actually went through the legal process of coming here. You know what I'm saying? And she said that they put her in the room with multiple of different African groups, and they told them, all right, you coming into America, you passed the test, you did everything. Now, we want to show you some videos of who you stay away from, because it can be detrimental and dangerous for y'all if y'all around certain people that y'all don't know about. This woman said they show old videos of Judah, you know, going into, I mean, she said it like back in the 80s or something, like creeping in somebody's house and snatching a white woman out of her house, and these old type of videos like that. And they showed some of the riots that happened and stuff. So he said, they was indirectly telling them, stay away from black people. A lot of our people, a lot of different tribes, Northern and Southern Kingdom, they'll come to America and they're taught indirectly to stay away from black people for some reason. And it's culturally like that, politically like that, because the Most High put a certain spirit on Judah, hey, to shake the hand at these devils, the main people, man, the Edomites. All right, so go ahead. If you got a point you can make. Was that it?
Well, yeah, I just kind of want to.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. We good.
Okay, yeah. So, but to get back to the article that I had made mention of, and I remember this when I was younger, when I heard about this 14-year-old black girl that was killed by a Mexican gang, right? And, you know, she was innocent. She had no ties to nothing, wasn't affiliated, none of that. And this is kind of an issue in which a lot of us as black people see that the Hispanics have or that they do towards us. You know what I'm saying? And I can attest to certain situations in which I probably could have almost been killed by Mexicans, and myself not having no affiliations, but still being in those situations in which it could have went left. And I did get banged on in San Pedro as I was walking on 10th. I want to say it was like 9th Street and Gaffey. I was walking towards 9th and Gaffey, and I was on my way to the library. They got like a library across the street on Gaffey, and then they got the 99-cent store. I don't know if it's still there at this point. I done lived all over LA since then. But with San Pedro and Compton being the two longest that I've lived in LA. But so I'm walking there, and it was quite a few of them out there. That was like they main street, because even when I got banged on over there, stood my ground, they was kind of taken aback, because of one, I had on a 49ers jersey wearing Patrick Willis, number 52, and he addressed me by that. He said, "Hey, 52, you know what I'm saying? Where you from?" I said, "Hey, I'm from the Bay." And they thinking, Harbor Bay area, the Harbor Bay area is, the surrounding cities over there in those areas. And then when I said Northern California, that took him all the way back. Like, oh, the balls, the audacity of this man to say that. You know what I'm saying? But, nothing escalated. And it was really only him, one of them, that kind of stepped up. His homies didn't really, try to press the line or nothing. And then I came right back down the same block. You know what I'm saying? Right after that. You know what I'm saying? Walk, hey, look, y'all gonna do something, y'all gonna do something. And that was me getting my first real taste of how it is in LA. You know what I'm saying? And then also, I seen on that same street, I seen them get into it with some other Jakes. Like it was a particular house in which it was a no-go, really. If you go on that block, you're likely gonna get into it with the essays over there. And I can remember there was a Jake that wanted to head up fade with one of them, while the two, it was older Mexicans, it was two OG Mexicans, they just had the bat in their hand, you know what I'm saying? And then the cold part about it was, I can remember this little kid being on the bike, Issachar, and he was saying, not racist remarks, but like it could be taken as that. He was saying like threatening things directed towards me. I'm just looking like this is a little kid, but he came from that same household in which the OGs and the older, the younger, but the ones in their 20s came from. It was all that same house. So it was certain, and Jake, it's certain streets you can't go on or certain neighborhoods you can't go to because you're likely to get into it with some of them over here. You know what I'm saying? And I say that to say we have to correct that. If we're not speaking out against it, you know what I'm saying? And then we have no right to be in this position of being teachers in this truth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We have to speak out and call it out. So I'm gonna read this right quick. This is from LA Times. This happened in 2006. It says, and I'll show it to you right quick. I don't know if brothers could see it. Let me zoom it out real fast. Could you see it now?
A little bit.
Hold on, let me try it one more time. Zoom it in and I'll zoom it out.
Yeah.
Right, so this is LA Times, 2006. And it says, I'll read it. Two reputed Latino gang members are charged in fatal shooting of black girl, right? And I'll read a little bit of it. It says, two reputed members of a Latino street gang known for attacks on blacks were charged Tuesday with capital murder and a hate crime in the killing of a 14-year-old African-American girl. Ernesto Alcaraz, 20, and Jonathan Ferraro, 18, both of Los Angeles, were arraigned at the Los Angeles County Superior Court in Long Beach on counts of murder and attempted first-degree murder in the December 15th fatal shooting of Cheryl Green, right? So, and then I want to say there was something else that I had seen. But
yeah, also,
you got it.
Also, there's many articles where you have people from different states. You had different Judites from different states. They'll come and not knowing the politics of LA, they'll go to East LA and live there and set up their house. And the moment they live there, hey man, it's almost like a KKK scene, man. They chase them out of that whole city, man. Ain't no black gonna be up in no East LA and have no type of ties with somebody over there, right? Now, of course, we ain't gonna be simple. We know our people are just as evil on the other side. We got a lot of gang banging, Crips and Bloods. There's more negative on our side. We got more negative on black, rather than black and brown. But there's a lot of articles as well where you do see that. But it ain't as much as it is on the other side. Yeah.
Salakia, and that's the thing that I kind of wanted to point out too. I'm gonna keep reading a little more on this article because they talk about it. Alcaraz and Ferraro are alleged to be members of the 204th street gang in the Harbor Gateway area. The Latino gang has a history dating back to the mid-1990s of hate crimes against blacks, ranging from racist graffiti to murder, Los Angeles police say. It says, in 2002, alleged gang member Marco Mila was convicted of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder after firing into a group of black people, killing one man at a liquor store near 204th Street and Harvard Boulevard. So, and this is the issue that I have, and I'm sure quite a few of our people have as well, because when they have issues with black people, they tend to target those that have nothing to do with the street culture, nothing to do with the street life, like the 14-year-old girl. I remember seeing a video some years back, a few years ago, on a Issachar Wright banging on a school Southern Kingdom kid, who clearly had no affiliations. He was a nerd, you know. You could tell he was into the books, you know. And this is not to say we don't see Judah or Southern Kingdom doing evil things to Issachar, because we've seen the I want to say the ice cream man or the corn man be robbed by some teenagers.
Hey, Rob
check this out. So look, this is the difference right here. This is the difference. When you see the corn man get robbed, like we seen that recently in LA, there was chastisement for those two black teenagers that did that to the corn man by black people. And there was a brother by the name of Jack 5 who was a Hoover gang member, right? Yeah. He posted the video himself squabbling and disciplining the two teenagers that robbed the corn man. Now, we don't see that type of reciprocity on the other side with Issachar. When do Issachar or any Hispanic group chastise their own for anti-blackness that, you know, we have to deal with coming from Hispanics? We don't never see that on any level. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'll shout out to, because we have seen videos that we just played.
I'm gonna say
calling them out. The ones that are calling them out on social media, but as it pertains to the streets, they don't do that. And for me personally, let me speak as a man right quick. I hate the fact, I'm about to cuss. I hate the fact that Issachar teams up with the white man in these jails. Now, I've never been locked up. All praise to the Most High. I have had my moments in which I should have been, but I have relatives, you know what I'm saying, close to me, and I know my brother right here, Riots, can speak to it. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I'm gonna yield to the brother if you would like to, King.
Yeah, no, it's just fact. It's the rebirth of Jim Crow is in prison. The rebirth of Jim Crow is in Southern California prisons, man, and Northern, little lenient with Northern. But when I say Jim Crow, the rebirth of Jim Crow, because, and I know it's Esau that set it up, but it's, if you black, based on your skin color, if you black, now they got some brothers that is from Hispanic gangs and vice versa, and I'm gonna show you the difference because I've seen it many times. When a Hispanic or when a black brother associates with a Latin gang in prison, he cool, you know, he's straight. We ain't tripping. The blacks ain't tripping. We like, hey, it is what it is, brother. Hey, brother, cool, right? Now, vice versa, I've seen it many times. Vice versa, if they see a Northern Kingdom that goes into that's from a Crip gang or a blood gang and probably been from there, and they immediately on the dude, man. They want to get him out, and then there's an uproar based off whoever he is. If he's some reputable brother, then it's going to be uproar. If he ain't, it might be uproar, but not as big. But it just shows the conflict that constantly doing it, right? And the politics is Jim Crow, man. When I say Jim Crow, what was Jim Crow entail? Segregation. Segregation is Jim Crow. You see that in prison on high levels and low levels, man. All right. Segregation, heavy racist politics, and the worst of the worst is what the brother said, the linking up with your enemy, man, as though he's not the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a Edomite skinhead who was locked up for 30 years. And he said, this is his testimony. He ended up getting out, and he got on this one channel and he started speaking about certain things that happened in the pen. This is an Edomite, white boy. And he said he was sitting eating with Northern Kingdom, who the world called Hispanics today. He was sitting and eating with them, and a black brother goes over there and sit down with him. And he like, hey man, what's up with this fool? Right? He's like, oh no, he a homie. When a Hispanic in Southern California say he a homie, that means he's from my roster. He's part of us. So it was a black brother that probably put a lot of work in on that side. And the dude said this, the Edomite said this. Hey, homie, I don't care what he is. Because they told him, hey, this homie, he said, I don't care what he is. He can't be sitting with us. Right? So the Edomite said this, man. I'll put it out on you if you think I'm lying.
Yeah.
So that just shows you the unjust and hatred that our brothers have according to the scriptures. Now, for those Negro onlys that say, "Oh yeah, they're Spaniards. They're they from Spain." All right, hey, that's a false doctrine, man. That's a false doctrine. You know what I'm saying? Because the Spaniards did come over there and colonize, rape, robbed, and murdered the people. And there's a lot. There's probably I'm pretty sure there's a mingled of Spaniards in Mexico, so on and so forth. Because you can see, like I said, the cultural racism. You might not be racist, but it might be a cultural racism that kind of, really pushes that agenda. And it's Esau's agenda at the end of the day, because the Spaniards brought that to Americas. All right. The Northern Kingdom didn't bring this to America, but the Spaniards brought that, and we all living that out. So we got to, take these specific spirits off of us so we can, get to our real purpose, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't, like I said, you can't come into the kingdom of heaven with these mentalities, man. That's sin. That's wickedness. That's spirits, evil spirits, man. All right, you got brothers right now as we speak that created something called Northern Kingdom only. We already have the Negro onlys. Now we got Northern Kingdom only. So there's a great divide that's happening. But the Most High, in the same token, you got many brothers on both sides that's coming together under the spirit of a Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Let me put this out, which is a spirit of unity, right? This is the book of Ephesians.
I got precept as well.
Yeah, come. The spirit of unity, man. We need to unify of who we are as a people, man. Y'all ain't Spaniards, and we ain't no damn Hamites or Canaanites or Phoenicians or conquistadors. You got Northern Kingdom now saying we conquistadors. The Northern Kingdom only cast. It's madness out here, man.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so this is Ephesians chapter 4, real quick. It's the book of Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 3. It says, well, let me start at 2, verse 2. With all lowliness and meekness. So when we come into this truth and reality, hey, we got to be lowly and meek. We can't come with the pride of our rasa or the pride with our hood, right? We got to come with the pride of Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Yasha Allah, all right? It says, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace, right? Because it's been far too long of Northern and Southern Kingdom beefing for no damn reason outside of the competition of who want to be on the white throne, or who want the white image to be pressed upon them, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. You guys, time to rebel, man. And the first thing of rebellion is order. And the order is what the scripture says Israel supposed to be in, all the positions that Israel's in, man. Judah is the king tribe. It is what it is. All right. You can't divert from that. If the Most High sets something up, you're not going to divert from it. All right. Ephraim is the king tribe of the Northern Kingdom. And he's and who's over the Northern Kingdom? The Southern Kingdom. Oh, that hate. Hey, you can feel the hatred even in that. All right, because you have a lot of brothers and sisters that come against that, man, and vice versa. Everybody got a position in a Mashiach Yahweh Shai and Yasha Allah, and we got to go according to how the Lord set it up and not how we set it up. All right, but you got it.
Come on, Yasharala, you still got that precept? You got it, because I got one right after that.
God, this is Zechariah chapter 11, verse number 14.
No.
Did you bring that out?
No, you got it, Ken.
God, it says, then I cut asunder mine other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. You see that? So it was already prophesied, man, thousands of years ago that the Lord will break literally the brotherhood between Judah and Israel, man. Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom, man. Right? I mean, when you go into the history of it, this has been going on since the time of 2 Samuel. right? First Samuel. You know what I mean? You have the house of David, you have the house of Saul. And when you study that and how that led all the way to King Solomon, right? First Kings 11th chapter, Rehoboam, right? Jeroboam 8. It goes all the way back then. And not to mention, right, 1,000 years before that, Deuteronomy chapter 28. Even before there was a southern kingdom, northern kingdom, the Lord already prophesied about the curses, man, between brothers, between Israelites. You know what I mean? So again, Zechariah 11 and 14, this is very crucial for us to understand, right? Because even though we have the same oppressor, man, over here in this side of the world, the same oppressor. Yep. We're literally living in the same hoods, the same gutters, right? We're going to the same type of stores. You know what I mean? Hey, we're dressing similar. You know, hey, when you look at the Dominicans, and although we're talking about Issachar in specific, but if we just look at the Dominicans, for example, how they move, a lot of them move just like Judah, man, right? Yeah. In certain cases. You know what I mean? Like they loud as hell. You know what I mean? You can tell the Dominican off the bat, right? And some of them even look like Judah as well, right? But they wouldn't confess that they're black. So it's a lot of similarities between the two. Again, why? Because we go back to that same, we have the same forefather, the same progenitor, which is Israel, Jacob, right? But I'm gonna get this precept on the brotherhood aspect, because again, this is what we're doing in this video. We're trying to do in this video is basically building that bridge of brotherhood again, that unity. You know what I mean? Let me get this real quick. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse number 17. Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king. So the scriptures talks about brotherhood. You see that? So the Lord said we have to love the brotherhood, man. And what is that love going into? What we're doing right now. Talking about the things that we don't want to talk about, right? Talking about the sensitive things, the sensitive topics. You know what I mean? Getting on Northern Kingdom as well as Southern Kingdom, right? That's called loving the brotherhood, man. Right?
Right.
So it says again, honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king. So if we had the same king, we got the same enemy, we living in the same places, what does that make you? What does that make Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom, man? What does that make the Mexicans and the blacks? We have all these same things that makes us the same people, man. Right? So yeah, Khan, brother got that
going back. So I do want to bring out a couple of precepts, but I do kind of want to talk about some of the issues that real quick before we close out. You know, brothers got to get ready to go. We're going to be on Hollywood and Highland today. We're going to be in Hollywood, California. So brothers is out here in this side of town in LA. Hey, come build with us, man. You know, but I do want to address, like, I know certain people in the comments. I know the sister said she lived in Tucson, Arizona. I remember I did have to help move my mom and sister out of Tucson back to California. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely dealt with racism over there, mostly from Esau, though, in Tucson. But they only stayed over there for a couple of years, though. So, and then the brother from NYC, I know we got a brother from New York, brother Ayuwab. And he can, you know, give testimony as well to what it was like growing up over there in the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? And the tensions. He said it wasn't quite like it was in LA, or quite like it is in LA, but they did have their moments, you know what I'm saying? In which, and hell, I can remember some viral videos some years ago in which, you know, the Dominicans, you know, had to, and Judah had some tension, and they had to address that. But they handled it like men. I can remember that part. But, you know, some of the things that Judah feels like they see Issachar coming over here usurping them. You know what I'm saying? Some feel like, you know, jobs are being taken, and, you know, at the end of the day, in regards to that, Esau, in any way or form, shape that he can get as close to slavery, which means paying people without having to give them wages, he's gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So that really comes down to Esau. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, so I mean, it's a bunch of nuances in regards to why, Judah feels how he does, or Issachar feels how they do. But I do want to read this real fast. This is in 1 Kings chapter 11.
Yep.
Right? No, actually 1 Kings chapter 12, and I'm gonna start at verse. I'm gonna keep dropping down, right? So I'm gonna start with verse 8. It says, "But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him." So this is pretty much the beginning in which the Most High was going to split the nation. You know what I'm saying? And then we were going to see constant friction between the nation, you know what I'm saying, until, the end of age, until nearing the time of Yahushai's return, right?
Yep.
And as we see right now, so the brother put it up there for us. It says Simeon and NYC don't like Judah, Benjamin, and Ephraim more cool sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna keep reading right quick. So it says, verse 9, "And he said unto them, What counsel give ye, that we may answer this people who have spoken to me?" So Rehoboam, he was of the southern kingdom, king of Judah, right? He, instead of taking the counsel of the elders, went to the brothers that was in likeness to his age and got counsel from them. And that was where he went wrong. So I'm going to fast forward, skip down. Verse 13, it says, "And the king answered the people roughly and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, My father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions." So what we see right here is, like the brother Ariyah brought out, is ranking. The Most High has a ranking system, and you cannot, usurp the Most High's ranking system or change pieces and parts how you feel it should be. You know what I'm saying? If the Most High has somebody as the top or that excels more than others, that's because the Most High made it that way. And when we read in 2 Chronicles chapter 5 and verse 1, it says Judah excelled above his brethren. You know what I'm saying? And this is why the Most High has, and also Judah is the lineage of the kings. So on one hand, we have to understand that the Most High did this because Christ was going to come from the lineage of Judah. And ultimately, his position is to be the king of the world. King over Israel, but king of the whole damn world. You know what I'm saying? So, and this is why it has to be respected. This is why Judah's lineage has to be respected. He's the top. But even within that, Judah is not the priest.
Right.
We have to respect the fact that the Levites are God's chosen, as far as they are the ones that are supposed to give the law. They're the ones that's supposed to be teaching it. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we're in a place in which, hey, the Most High, hey, the whole deck is out. Everybody got to be teachers. We're trying to wake our people up and restore. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the Most High chose the Levites to be joined unto him. They're closer to the Most High than we are. You know what I'm saying? In relationship. And not only that, but of the northern kingdom, the brother already made mention of it. Ephraim is the lead of the northern kingdom. He was the kings. That's where the lineage of the kings came from. It was from Ephraim. You know what I'm saying? So you can't make yourself equal to or compare if the Most High has a ranking system. At the end of the day, we all Israelites. We all going to receive our blessings. We all going to receive our rewards equally. But we're going to still have to respect the ranking and the system that the Most High has, even when it comes to the kingdom. Because it's the Most High, his son, you know what I'm saying? It's the 12 disciples, 144,000. Hey, the 1/3 after that, man. That's a ranking system right there. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to overthrow that. So let me finish this right quick.
And just to real quick, just to insert that scripture, that's one of our fall. Our main fall was what's the king of Judah? Rehoboam.
Rehoboam.
Rehoboam's sin was pride.
Yeah,
that was his sin. Ephraim's sin, which is considered to be the northern kingdom, but the king of Ephraim, his sin was idolatry, because he was so jealous of Ephraim, of Judah, and what he was doing in Jerusalem. He said, "Man, let me set up a Jerusalem near us. Let me set up an altar near us, and put not Levites, but put whoever I want to put up there." And we see that today. We see our sin of Judah, the sin of Judah is pride. We were, hey, we quick to say, man, nigga, I'm a king. Nigga, we quick to say that with no kingdom. You know what I'm saying? But then we see Ephraim, which considered to be the northern kingdom. Hey, they are swept over with the idolatry on a heavy level. Statues of Caesar Bowl all over the place and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So we see these two sins that carry on throughout the history of the Bible. What you got?
God, no, that's absolutely right. So I'm gonna keep going on this. It says, well, again, Rehoboam said he was gonna make the yoke heavier because what? They did have the leadership and the rulership over all the tribes, but he walked in the spirit of pride, said, I'm gonna make the yoke harder for you now, under my authority, right? That's what Rehoboam said. So verse 15 in 1 Kings chapter 12, it says, wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Right? So look, even then, it was a small portion of northern kingdom that stayed with Jeroboam or Rehoboam. You know what I'm saying? With the southern kingdom. But I'm going to keep going right quick. It says, verse 18, then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, which was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones, that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. Right? So, and this is why the brother said, you need to rebel against this system. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yes, this is what you need to really rebel against. Now, you shouldn't be rebelling against the natural order, the divine setup that the Most High has in his ranking. We get it, Issachar. We know y'all warriors. We know y'all, man. We know y'all mighty in strength. We know, hey, look, when it comes to boxers, we know Issachar is right up there with Judah. And we give y'all respect. We give you the respect. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you got to respect the Most High's power, his authority, his rank. You know what I'm saying? So this is not to diminish nobody at all. You know what I'm saying? So the Bible just said that the northern kingdom would rebel unto the house of David unto this day. That's why we see so much rebellion even in this time. This is why they don't want to come up under, the wing of Judah, or the wing of the southern kingdom. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the Most High has brought this truth through, Judah. You know what I'm saying? He brought it back through Judah. You know what I'm saying? For us to get this restoration, because ultimately our King, our Savior, Yahweh Shai, comes from that lineage, and that's who's going to rule over the whole nation. You got it, though, King?
I'm just going to throw a few precepts out, man. Brother got to brother stare it up in this thing. So, give me Genesis chapter 49 and verse 10 real quick through the spirit. And then I'm just going to read it, though. First King, I'm going to read this first. It's the book of First Kings, chapter 13, or chapter 12. I think you read this, but which part you?
I kind of jumped all over on that First Kings.
Okay, so I just hit it again if you touched it. First Kings chapter 13 and 25. Then Jeroboam built Shemek in Mount Ephraim and dwelt therein, and went out from thence and built Peniel. Right, so he built. Let me keep reading. Verse 26. And Jeroboam said in his heart. So Jeroboam represents the northern kingdom. He was the king of the northern kingdom when the split started. Right. It says, and Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord. Look how evil this man is. He didn't want the nation of Israel to turn to the Lord by going to Jerusalem. So he said, let me set up a Jerusalem over here, man. Right. And that goes to show where you got a lot of brothers like for instance, you got the Northern Kingdom brothers, the Northern Kingdom only brothers. They say that Jerusalem is here, right? That's I mean, you're doing exactly the same thing that your forefathers did, man. This is America. This place will be burned down. Okay. It says, and Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah. So that was his whole alternative was to remove the heart of the people away from Judah and Jerusalem, which is the promised, which is the main area. It says, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they shall kill me and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said to them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. And we see that today with Caesar Bow. Caesar Bow statues all over, Northern Kingdom, especially out here in California. You got Caesar Bow. You go to downtown, they got Caesar Bow monuments all over the place. Caesar Bow all in South America countries. Heavy Caesar Bow everywhere, right? These are the calves today that's being set up on these mounts. All right, these are the calves today that's being set up on these mounts. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is the God that potentially delivered Israel. That's what they're saying in the spirit. Also, they saying when like that video you showed before the live broke shut off, we saw how the Northern Kingdom brother was saying there's a specific word that means to approve the race or whiten the race, approve the race, is why they don't like so-called Judites or so-called Negroes, right? So we see a lot of this stuff going on, and it's in the scriptures, right? The hostility is in the scriptures, right? It says, behold, thy gods, O Jerusalem. I read that 29. And he set up, look at this. And he set up the one in Bethel and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And look at this, 31. And he made a house of high places and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi. Right? So they made priests of themselves, right. Which was not of the Levite lineage, man. You totally going off of the order that the Lord set up, So this is what we're talking about. Everything is according to the Bible. So you go ahead and bring that out. I'll break that down real quick.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 10.
Then I got one more after that one, and then we
can close it. I got 2 after that.
All right.
It says the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor
the what?
The scepter shall
now
not
that's the scepter is dealing with authority. The authority, the rulership will not depart from Judah. That's why we still have that spirit. Our brothers are known following the Judites throughout American history. It's a fact. When the Black Panthers was set up, the Black Panthers made, he didn't tell, the Black Panthers didn't get all the Northern Kingdom tribes to just become Black Panthers. That don't even sound right. They said, no, we're going to set up organizations for your own people, and y'all, and we be the, we'll help you with the order if you need it, right? You had the beret, you had the brown berets. Most Southern California Hispanics, they don't know who the brown berets is, man. That's lost in history. The brown berets was a Hispanic group in Southern California, right? Where they was fighting for against the oppression, and they knew who their oppressor was. All right, they used to line up. They was called brown berets. Look that up, right? This is Ezekiel 37 without the breath. This is the bones standing up, right? You had the brown berets. Then over there in New York, you had the young lords who were Puerto Ricans. They knew who their oppressor was. Then you had the Native Indians. I forgot they was called like Native Indian something. And they was doing the same thing. But who was the head of that? Hey, Judah was, man. Judah just orchestrated this thing, right? Why? Because Yahushua, he's going to do the same thing. So he's using specifically Judah to wake up the other tribes, even to the point when the situation of Jacob trouble come, Judah going to be the one to kick it all the way off, man. All right. And it's all according. Ain't nobody bigger than nobody. It's just we're talking about the order status of Yahweh Shem Yahushua and his government. So go ahead and read.
God says the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And
until yeah, go ahead.
And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Right. So, like for instance, you got some Northern Kingdom brothers. Hey, all praise with what y'all doing, but y'all going off with the Northern Kingdom only doctrine, man. Like for instance, they use it. They still use Yahweh Shah. They still use Yahweh, but they call the blacks in America the Canaanites. Okay, so that will mean if you want to use that will mean that you got your information from Canaanites. The way you break doctrine down, you got it from the Judites. You know, because it started in the 60s, man. You know, and it was so-called Negro Judites and probably others, Southern Kingdom, that laid the foundation, man. What's wrong with that, man? All right. So I'll go to 9 and go down.
Verse 9, Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He stooped
down. And on the spiritual level, I'm just going to use it on the spirit. I'm not going to say this is what I mean. On the spiritual level, that's what Southern Kingdom is. That's what Judah is doing right now. He stooped down from these riots. He's not really, he's falling back. Why? Because he's been to war throughout the generations of America. All right. We're tired. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing we're gonna shake the hand is under this truth. When we tried everything, man. We tried Black Panthers, tried Islam, we tried it all, right? Now it's time to get up under the truth of the Bible, which is we the Israelites, and we need to put the order of the tribes together. All right, go ahead.
God, it says he stooped down, he couched as a lion.
He couched as a lion.
And as an old lion, who shall rouse them up?
Right, who gonna rouse them up? Hey, we ain't gonna ignore the fact that Judah has got his head bashed in multiple times in the national public or in public. Everybody, we on the national stage of our persecution. Why? It's for a reason, because we are of the king tribe. That's why. And the Lord is doing that. Because when they abuse us, all they doing is abusing the Lord anyways, man. Because at the end of the day, hey, Yahushua was an unarmed black man as well. That got killed by Roman police as well. All right. If you want to be specific. All right. So we see that. Nobody, honestly, there wasn't too many people speaking on the fact that, hey, we getting our heads beat in out here, man. Hey, our hearts should grieve when we see young brothers get their head beat in. We can't do nothing as grown men. Our spirits grieve on that, but yeah, we got to keep going. You know? So this is the stuff we talking about. Keep reading.
Verse 10 again.
Oh, that was it? Okay, so let me now go. This is the last verse, last chapter. Isaiah 11 and verse 13. All right. Yeah, Isaiah 11, verse 13.
Yeah, I had a quick precept on that as well. Exactly what you was talking about.
Yeah, go ahead and shoot that out real quick.
Well, actually bring that out first, and then I'll bring out that my precept.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Is your precept more mightier than this one?
Yeah.
Nah, it goes exactly with Isaiah 11.
No, I got it.
More mightier.
Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart.
The what? Let's slow this down. We're gonna cook real quick. The what? Because now let's break it down.
Yeah.
Ephraim represents the whole northern kingdom. It's not specifically just aiming at Ephraim. You got Negro Onis, they'll preach that. Oh, I don't see us beefing with the Puerto Ricans. Don't be simple, Jay. It's talking about all northern kingdom on that side, right? So go ahead. It says that now, hey, Yashrala, can you pull out envy? Etymology of envy.
In the blue letter.
In the blue letter?
You can do a definition. Do the definition as well, because definition is mighty as well.
All right, I'll do the definition real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on.
The envy of Ephraim, which is the northern kingdom. We proven that so-called brown people are our people, man. You can't ignore it. There's too much history on this plantation called America, and there's too much evidence that link up to the northern tribes, man, of America, right? And we made shorts to prove and validate that they are Israelites. And every time I see somebody comment that opposes that, all they say is, "No, they're not." Man, where your essential evidence at? No, they're not. Like we supposed to just take your word after we just put all the evidence together. It's a no, they. Oh, we gotta go by what? No, we gotta go by no, they're not. Man, bring your facts, man. If you can't break down Negro Oni, if you can't break down Genesis 49 with every tribe, don't just put one tribe. Okay, this is South Africa. This is our people. And no, I want every tribe just like you need an alternative. If you're gonna oppose the 12 tribe chart, which a lot of people do, if you're gonna oppose it, well then show us in the scriptures in Genesis 49, because that Bible says that in the last days, these are the conditions of all these people on this chapter. All right. So Negro Oni, I don't want to hear nothing come out your mouth until you break down Genesis 49. All right, go ahead. You got that?
Yeah. Definition of envy, it says a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck.
Now we got to look at it on the spiritual level. Why Northern Kingdom? Because there's certain instances where we see that jealousy. Because, like, for instance, I told there was a Northern Kingdom told me, man, you guys have a mouthpiece that's so smooth, man. Y'all can just finagle your way into a lot of different spaces. You know, that's the envy. You know, brother, sister Lily said, I envy that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the Most High gave us specific gifts, and the Most High gave them specific gifts, man. You know what I'm saying? The Most High gave us the spirit of a mouthpiece. Why? Because we are the specific tribe that needs to shake the hand and usher in these specific prophecies and to wake up our people. All right, and we did it even before the truth with the Black Panthers and things of that nature. You got the Nation of Islam that got multiple of Hispanic groups that's linking up with them. Yeah, that's off, but it just shows you the Most High have given us a specific mouthpiece for a reason. Do Northern Kingdom got a mouthpiece? Absolutely, man. On many different ways and occasions. We're awakening the thought, man. We trying to shake up your mind, wake your spirit up, so we all can be in the same position and the same flow of things, right? So envy is something you're longing for that you want that you probably don't have, that in that specific way, right? All right, so go ahead and read that. Read that, Shalom.
Says the envy.
And then look up Vex as well. Go ahead.
We gotta wind it down.
No, I'm not. I'm just that word Vex, and that's it. Definition of Vex.
All right. Yeah. One more time from the top. Verse 13, the envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off.
Right, Ephraim, Judah got a lot of adversaries. We see that with the police, with the government, and so on and so forth. All right, go ahead.
Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim.
And this is why I said we can't leave that definition alone. So find that definition.
Yeah.
All right, because Judah do a lot of sneaky stuff as well.
No, of course.
And they hide his hand.
The Most High had that put it there for a reason, man.
Read there. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and bring that up.
You got it, King?
So the definition of vexed.
Yeah.
God, it says, make someone feel annoyed, frustrated, or worried, especially with trivial matters.
Yes. And we are experts of that. We know how to get up under your skin. We know how to get up under each other's skin.
Yeah.
Like, look out. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Quick, a good person to to pinpoint who vexes the Northern Kingdom is Tariq Nasheed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's gifted with vexing them. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to, clown around and all that. He brings out a lot of historical, stuff, but he does a lot of stuff to vex them as well.
Yes, which caused the divide. You know what I'm saying? So we noticed that. This is just to prove that we are of the same people, and we all need to get come together, not under the basis of skin color, Esau's ideology, but the basis of the foundation of the Bible under Yahweh Shah, man. I yield with that.
God, Yasharala, the precept?
God, just one precept. This is Isaiah 19, verse number 23. It says, in that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria, and the Egyptians shall serve with the Assyrians. So just like the brother brought out in Isaiah 11, I know Isaiah 11 talks about Egypt and Assyria when you go down into the chapter. This is basically just talking about Southern and Northern Kingdom just under the banner of being called after these other nations. Like when you look at the Egyptians and the Assyrians, these are two different nations right here, right? These are two way different nations. When you link that up with Ezekiel chapter 37, it talks about how the Lord in the last days will make Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom one kingdom again, and there will not be any more two nations or two kingdoms, right? Anymore at all. It talks about that. So that's exactly the goal of what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to fulfill that goal, and ultimately it's not going to happen until Yahweh Shah comes back. But in the kingdom, we're not going to be two nations anymore at all. What does that show you? That right now, how we're operating in the world, Mexicans, you got the Puerto Ricans, you got the Dominicans, we're acting like we're different nations. You know what I mean? We're acting like we're different kingdoms. So I brought that out in Isaiah 19 and verse 23, just to show that in the latter days, when Yahweh Shah comes back, the Egyptians, which is the symbolic in this chapter for Southern Kingdom, and the Assyrians, because Northern Kingdom went into captivity under the Assyrians. And why Egypt? Because during this time of Jeremiah and Isaiah, Southern Kingdom wanted to flee into Egypt, right? Because of the persecution of the Babylonians and the other nations. So because of that, the Lord is saying that the Egyptians are going to serve with the Assyrians under Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah in the last days, ultimately in the kingdom, which shows you right now how we're operating right now and how we're looked out in the world. So with that, hey, all praise to the Most High God. Hey, I'll get with that.
God, hey, that's the precept that I was going to go to anyway. So Ezekiel 37. Y'all both brought out the last two precepts I was going to go to, Isaiah 11 and Ezekiel 37. But I will just say this, Zephaniah 2 and 1 real fast. I mean, a classic, you know what I'm saying? So Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired, before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the shaft, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Right. So at the, in conclusion to this lesson, we want to say our Hispanic brothers, you got to call out the anti-blackness within so-called Latino communities, call out your relatives, call out, what's the name they call mom or grandma or whatever. I forget the name, but, call out cousins, brothers, uncles. Hey, you got to call out your OGs too. You know what I'm saying? You can't be scared of that. OG's got to, you know, step in. You know what I'm saying? I know you kind of put your life on the line, you know what I'm saying, in regards to certain of the gangs. But at the end of the day, we trying to push this truth. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to reach who it needs to reach. You did your job. You told somebody that you dust your hands with it. You know what I'm saying? And Judah, no longer, we got to cease from vexing our brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? With trivial matters. You know what I'm saying? With silly things. You know what I'm saying? So we just want to bring a unity amongst our people. I'll yield or say Kwame Yasharala unless other brothers got something else to say.
Yeah. One thing, the reason why we're not involved with those riots, because we're not involved with any riots, first and foremost. Yeah. And once the Israelites step out into that, they're gonna magnify our picture over everybody else because they want our heads anyways. But for the most part, we're not involving ourselves because there's a lot of brothers on Facebook saying, "Oh, why the camps ain't getting involved with this?" We've been getting involved. We've been on the front line, shaking the hand, telling our people, "You must repent." We are all coming back through the spirit of Yahushua, and under that, there ain't no other gate to climb. You can't climb the wall and try to go another way. There's only one way, and that's the doctrine that we preach. Salak.
Yeah, and Salaki. And at the end of the day, again, we're not like somebody asked a question. Why are black people not helping? You know, we need to come together and stop all of this division. Why are you coming when you're going through hell, when you're catching hell? Why are you asking? Why are you trying to come together now? Why you wasn't trying to come together the week before the riots? You know,
these prophecies coming forth.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So hey, you should have been trying to get us together, man. You don't come to us when you're going through it, you're going through hell, and you know the person that has caught the most hell right next to you will come help you. Because look, we not, you know, under that no more. Hey, look, you got to get down with us when it's good. You got to get down with us when it's bad, man. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, we got to come back as one nation under God. Right. So, hey, that was a little old.
Before Babylon.
Right. God, because they used to make us say the
right hand over your heart.
Right. God, but with that, hey, I'm gonna say Kwame Yasharala to the 12 man, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah.
Kwame Yasharala. Shalom. God.
Yeah, you gotta show the mighty elder, man.
Show the elder.
Shalom. Hey, y'all about to mighty lesson, Akim.
God. Praise to the Most High.
God. Shalom.
Shalom, y'all. How you end this thing?